What's up guys, my name is Dante from Heartbreak Productions, and today I'm going to be showing you how I put together my beat making videos. So first off, all the programs I use to create my videos are Sony Vegas, Pro 13, which you can either pirate or you can go out and buy it like I did. You will need After Effects from Adobe, which that one you're gonna need Creative Cloud for, which is like 20 bucks a month. Then you, as an optional thing, you might need Handbrake here, depending on certain circumstances, which I'll go into later. But then you're also gonna need a photo editing program, which can be Photoshop or Gimp, which in my case I use Gimp, but whatever program you use, I mean, you could probably even get away with MS Paint if you really wanted to, but Gimp is free, and if you know how to navigate the menus and stuff, it can be really easy to use. But anyway, the beat will be playing right now. Because of the way I have my recording software set up though, I can't actually play it through here, else it'll be super delayed. But what you're going to want to do first is you're going to want to grab your kick pattern. So I'm going to first off find mine because I didn't organize them. But here's my kick pattern, so pattern 6. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to solo it and make sure all your effects and stuff are on. So now I'm going to export this, and it's going to be, first off, you're going to export it as an MP3, and so I will export it as, let's say, I'm gonna put it on my desktop as a new folder, just for demonstration purposes. So I'll just new folder it. So I'm gonna do this, let's say SB kick MP3, because why not? So you're gonna wait for it to render, and then I'll come back to this. Alright, so now that that has finished, we're going to do the same thing, only with the entire project. Alright, so now I'm just going to do the same thing for the next one, and while this is going to be doing this, I actually opened up the picture that I'm going to be using. So you just want to go on the internet, find a picture of whomever the track pertains to. So for this one, like I said, it's a Suicide Boys type track, and really the editing that I do on it's very minimal. I'm going to go to hue and saturation. I'm going to just drop everything. And see, like, you can do cool effects like this, like you can do something like this, or can make it super crazy if you want. But for me, for this video, I'm going to just do what I regularly do, make it black and white. While it's black and white, brightness, contrast, and just going to keep adjusting these levels until you get like a background, or like just this sort of like a high contrast, low brightness, or like just where you get a bunch of the details and not much else. Okay, let's say like this is gonna be my picture. You usually want to associate a color with your artist, and so for Suicide Boys, I think like a dark blue kind of fits with their theme. And so I'm just going to kind of ease into the color that I think. So something along these lines. And just play around with it a little. Sometimes I'll also do this too, and I'll show this and see if it looks better for the demonstration, but inverting the image might actually make this look better. A lot of it's just kind of playing with the settings. But let's see, so colorize, And so I'm going to go and try to find that blue again. So like maybe something like that. More saturated, lighter. No, I'm gonna need a darker blue. So let's say like this. Again, just playing with settings. Keep the saturation really high. Alright, so I think this will be good. Now, the next thing to do is like let's say that this image is done. So we're just gonna export this. Gonna just call it, which you can't see this on screen right now, but I'm just gonna call it video 1 just for the sake of this, but I would usually call it like Suicide Boys 1 or something like that. So we're now done with this and whatever DAW program you were in. So I'm gonna exit these. And now what we're going to do is actually work on the video itself. We have all the pieces for the video now, but we're going to start putting it together. Alright, so while we wait for After Effects to completely load up, because I'm recording it's going to take a little bit longer, but we are just going to kind of brainstorm on what we want. Now, I have a very formulaic template with these videos, so I'm going to just be adding a audio wave, or a spectrum, I mean, and a my symbol. So I'm going to, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the actual like symbol that I have and the kicks. So I'm just going to go to new composition. You want to make the duration setting match your setting from before. So I think it was, let's just say 3 minutes, because I think it was like 255 or something. But just to be safe, we're going to do 3. So now you have this alpha background. So what you want to do now is you want to start dropping in your stuff. So I have this little thing, HH blue white, which is just, it's just this. It's my symbol and all that on an alpha background, which just means that it's transparent. So next thing that we're going to do is we are going to go to the other file, and once again you cannot see this on screen, but we're going to go to the kick file that we had from before. So SB kick MP3. And the reason why I'm not doing these in waves is just because they're not going to be it's not going to matter later. So for the kick here, what you're going to do is you're going to right click on the kick and you're going to go to keyframe assistant and convert audio to keyframes. It's going to change that, and now every time your kick hits, it's going to have a value somewhere. So what I do is I go to the audio amplitude layer that just got created. I personally delete left and right channels because I don't do a lot of stuff in left and right channels when it comes to kicks like that. And then so now I go to this both channels and I have this slider pulled up. I'm going to go to my HH blue here and I'm going to find scale under transform. I'm then going to alt click, left click on scale, and it's going to bring up the expressions menu. Gonna grab this little pick whip and bring it over to the slider. Drop it in, and now I have this. And what this means is it's just routed to it. So you can go to the expression here. You can go to the expression here and you can I don't know. Okay, there we go. So pretty much if you look now, if you go through this, it'll be moving around. But if you go to the expression menu here, I do this in almost every video because it needs it, but you're gonna do plus, begin bracket, 100, comma, space 100, and end bracket. Then it's going to pop up bigger, and now every time it hits, it's just gonna be a little bit more subtle. And so depending on how your kicks hit in the song, you might have to add some other expressions, such as there's one that's an ease keyframe, but I'm not going to go into detail with all that too because this video is going to be long enough as is. But anyway, so this is pretty much it. Like, it's just going to go throughout and then it's going to be done. So we're going to do Control M to put this into the render queue. Now I just click on this in best settings and save it. So for this is the output module. What you're going to want to do is do RGB plus alpha for your channels and AVI format. What you're then going to do is you're going to turn your audio output off. Click OK. Save your output to, let's just do SB Kicks 1 in document, and you're going to, I just now pressed caps lock because that's going to stop it from actively trying to show me a preview while it's rendering, which will just make the process go faster. So with that said, while it's rendering, we can talk about some other things here. So there are expressions that you can use to sort of ease that little bump effect, and if you don't have After Effects, you can get that bump effect in Sony Vegas. I just do it this way because, like, this process here took me probably 3 minutes to actually do, and even less if I, wasn't trying to explain it a little bit. And so doing that just kind of lets you, like have a much quicker workflow and lets me pump out these videos faster. And it's also important to note that you do not need After Effects and Sony Vegas to do this. To get the audio waves, you need After Effects, but for Sony Vegas, I mean, you can probably do everything else in Premiere Pro. It's just that I have Sony Vegas and I'm used to the workflow in it. Alright, so now that this one has finished, we're going to open a new project. And we can save this if you want. Once again, SB Kicks. Let's go with 1. So this one's a little bit easier. So you're just going to open up a new composition, new solid, and just white solid. White or black, either one's good. It doesn't really matter. So now we're going to look up audio spectrum, in which you may already know how to do this if you're watching this video, but I'm just going to do it anyway. So I'm going to pull in my MP3 that I had before of the full song. And so this is just going to be actually creating one of these. So we're going to go back to the white solid, and we're going to go to the audio layer and click Boys MP3. So now these are my settings: start frequency 20 and frequency 2000. I'm going to change my frequency bands to 150 just because it'll make it look more full. Maximum height, we'll go with 5,000. Makes everything a little bit bigger. Audio duration and offset, leave unchanged. Thickness, probably 5. Play around with these settings if you want. I'll just do 8. Softness, 100%. So now, for your inside color, I always make it relevant to the picture that we had. So I'm gonna do like a dark blue kind of picture one, and then for this one I always do white. So now it's just going to kind of pop out a little bit. You can, if you want to make it sort of more colorful, you can kind of adjust this and it'll just make you have more color overall. I'm just gonna put it back. So now you can do this, or you can change what side it's on. I'm gonna do side A. Sometimes I do both, but I've been leaning more toward doing the side A thing. And so I believe that might be it for this. So once again, you'll play through and you can see this, and the bass is always going to knock really high when it comes to rap tracks, but you're going to just look through it, you know, make sure everything's good. If you wanted, you could change the frequency bands where there's less of them, or if you wanted, change it to more, just whatever you think will look better with your video. It's a lot of trial and error too, so I'm just going to change this to like 175. Cool. So now, once again, just like before, I'm going to do the exact same settings. Gonna turn your audio output off, RGB plus alpha, and then okay. So I do SB waves. Cool. And then I'll save it right now just so I don't have to do that later. Alright, now we start the rendering. Press caps lock. And alright, so now that we have the After Effects video done rendering, we can go into Sony Vegas to put everything that we've done so far all together. So first off, I'm going to grab the original picture, which we had saved as like video 1 or whatever, and drop it in. Now here's the image, and now we're going to start dropping in the wave. We can change it to match the media if we want. Drop in the waves and the kicks. Cool. So now what we're going to do with this is we're going to change this to screen. And then we're going to change this one to screen also. So now everything's going to start layering on top of itself. And what I just did with this little button was put it on my second screen so I can look at it to adjust it if need be. So I do need to adjust it. So we're going to get everything about the same length. And I'm going to go to my first frame, and I'm going to move this wave down a little bit. So maybe about here should be good. I'm going to do the same thing for the Open Heartbreak Productions picture, and I'll actually make it smaller too while keeping it centered. Once again, I have 2 monitors so I can sort of see how it'll play out on the other screen, but you can kind of minimize this one if you're unable. If you do not have 2 screens, so and try to get it lined up as much as possible and right here. So this is what it's looking like now, and I'm actually going to go back and readjust the wave to be a little bit higher. And you want to make sure that you're doing this on the first frame too. I just need to make that very clear because otherwise it'll start adding keyframes and you don't want that. So just start scrolling. Like there's no audio, but you can see how it's going to start moving. Now, for demonstration purposes only, I'm going to use the MP3 that we used for this, but normally I would be using like the full wave file. So here we go. I'm just going to drag in my MP3 for it. If it's not going to start playing. Alright. So dragging in the MP3, new layer. And now if you've done everything correct up until this point with like timing and everything, everything should line up fine. So like, alright, super laggy. But what I do to test this is I just kind of take a random area and I'm going to first off save, because you want to save these. So I'll just AB1 or SB1, I don't remember. Render as, and I'm going to render it as just test video 1. And then we're gonna see what it looks like now, just this little snippet. So just looking at it, I mean, the waves are definitely way too high, so I can go back and adjust that, but everything's very smooth. Sony Vegas, for me, runs really slowly in this actual menu, but once you render it out, it looks a whole lot better. So just as an added little thing here, I'm going to just drag and drop in border onto the SB waves. And then once again, I can see it on my screen, but I can't, like, show you on the other ones, at least not yet, but I'm gonna try to like do this blurred border a little bit just to kind of ease it a little. Like here, like you can see it's still super high, but it's kind of hidden a little bit, I guess. Anyway, I think that'll be it for this. I might make another video on sort of my upload settings and all that to YouTube, but I think this will be it for now. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. My name's Dante with Heartbreak Productions, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.